Hello student, welcome back. So in the last video I explained up to what causes air pressure. So we'll continue our explanation from the next part, that is air pressure. How is air pressure important for us? So air pressure is important for the following reason. Number one, it creates winds. Then number two, it influences weather. And number three, weather forecasting. So let us discuss this number one point. The difference in the atmospheric pressure gave rise to the wind system of the earth. While I was discussing about this air pressure, I said about breeze, land breeze and sea breeze. And that land breeze and sea breeze was because of the heating of the land and the water. Okay, when air heats up, okay, or when air gets heated, then the heated air rises up, and as a result what happens, the air which is cool, it blows to the place where the hot air rises up, causing wind. So similar to that, it creates wind. The air pressure, the difference in the atmospheric pressure give rise to the wind system of the earth. It is because of the difference in the air pressure only what happens, wind blows in our earth. The next one is influences weather. Second one, changes in weather are related to the changes in the atmospheric pressure. That means in this part what will come, air movement. Okay, in this part also air movement is associated. Air movement, that is upward and downward, caused due to the differences in pressure, creates cloudy and clear skies, brings rain and fine weather. How do our weather changes? It is because of the varying pressure only. Okay, it is because of the varying it is because of the air movement only what happens, the weather condition varies in a particular place. Then the third one is weather forecasting. Changes in air pressure give important clues for weather, for forecasting weather. As in the second point I have said that because of this air pressure only, and because of this air pressure only, the weather also changes and changes. So when the air pressure changes, okay, then the weather also changes, and because of the change in air pressure we can get the important clues for forecasting weather. Then the next slide is the movement of air. Let's proceed to the next point, that is movement of air. So as we already know that blowing or moving air is called wind. We've already got the definitions in your previous class, and I have said it in the starting of my explanation only. Blowing air or moving air is called wind. So the speed of wind may vary from 5 km to 10 km per hour, which we generally term it as a gentle breeze, to 700 to 800 km per hour, that is, which we call it a tornado. Okay, you can just see the difference in the speed. When it blows with a speed of 5 km to 10 km per hour, then we call it a gentle breeze. But when it rises to 700 800 km per hour, then it takes the shape of a tornado only. So the speed and direction of wind is affected by, how is the speed and direction of wind affected? The speed and direction of wind is affected by number one, the location of the earth, then number two, the local conditions, number three, the rotation of the earth, and number D, height from the ground. So then the next part comes, air expands on heating. Okay, so gases expands more than liquid and solids. Why do gases expands more than liquid and solid? Because the particles present inside gases, they have very less intermolecular forces of attraction. Since the particles present in a gas, they have less intermolecular forces of attraction, so the particles are very much free, okay, to move. And because of that only what happens, when it gains energy, gases expands more than liquid and solid. And why don't liquid and gas solids expand? Liquid and solid do not expand because of strong intermolecular forces of attraction between the particles present in liquids and solids. So air is a mixture of gas. Air also expands on heating. Air is a mixture of gas, as you all know. So due to the expansion, warm air occupies more spaces. Because of that expansion, what happens? Warm air occupies more spaces. As a result, its density decreases and it becomes lighter. So due to expansion, what happens? The density of the air decreases and it becomes lighter. Next one is, warm air is lighter than cold air. Okay, warm air is lighter than cold air. So Let me give you an example of this expansion of gases. So I hope every one of you have seen the making of chapati, or which you call in local language that is roti. So whenever a chapati is being made in your home, what happens? When it is put on the pan, then what happens? That flat chapati, it expands after getting that heat. What is the thing which is causing that flat chapati to expand? It is the air only. And how is the air expanding? Because it is gaining energy from the heat. And so that example completely suits the first point, that is gases expands more than liquid and solids. Okay, if you have seen that, hope every one of you have seen it. It is not an uncommon example. Every one of you have seen it. So that is what satisfies this, or that is what the first point is explaining. So warm air is lighter than cold air. Hmm. So what happens, while I was explaining the case of land bridge and sea bridge, I have explained this point actually already. So next, let us proceed to the next slide, that is the causes of winds. Winds are caused due to the difference in air pressure. How is wind caused? Wind is caused due to the difference in air pressure. Warm air is lighter. As it rises, it cools and spreads. Once it is cooled, the air starts moving back to the earth. I hope you have understood this point. Warm air is lighter. When the air becomes heated, then it rises up. But once it again becomes cool, then it moves back towards the earth. Since the atmosphere constantly works to restore a balance, air moves in from an area of high pressure to an area of low pressure. This movement of air is called wind. What happens? Air always moves from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure. And that movement of air causes winds only. Then the next one comes, atmospheric pressure influences weather. Upward movement of air causes cloudy sky, and the downward movement of air causes clear sky. You can just see it here, just you remember it. The upward movement of air, when air moves up, then it causes the sky to be cloudy. And the downward movement of air, what does it do? It causes clear sky. As air rises and creates an area of low pressure, water vapor in it condenses to form clouds. When the air rises up, it creates an area of low pressure, and the water vapor present in that air, it condenses, it cools down to form clouds. Conversely, sinking air generally means that condensation cannot take place. Sinking air means depleting the level of air, depletion in the percentage of air. What does it do? It means that condensation cannot take place. That is, the air is moving back to the earth. So low pressure is associated with the cloudy skies and wet weather. High pressure is associated with clear skies and clear and sunny skies. Then the next point is the generation of wind. How is wind generated? Wind current generated. Wind currents are generated due to the uneven heating on the earth. Wind currents are generated due to the uneven heating of on the earth. Depending upon the locations present on our earth surface, the two situations are possible. Number one, uneven heating between the equator and the poles. When does this wind current arise? When there is uneven heating between the equator and the poles. The next one, uneven heating of the land and water on the earth. Uneven heating of the land and water on the earth. So both these factors are responsible for generating the wind currents. Then next comes thunderstorms. The swift movement of the falling water along with rising warm air producing sound, lightning, heavy rain and strong wind is called thunderstorm. What is this thunderstorm? It is the swift movement of the falling water along with rising warm air producing sound, lightning, heavy rain and strong wind. Together you will call it as thunderstorm. Where does it develop? It develops in hot and humid tropical regions. Okay, then next comes the formation of thunderstorm. How are these thunderstorms formed? Formation of thunderstorm requires the following. Number one, moisture. It requires moisture. Second one, rapidly rising warm air. And third one, sea breeze or mountains. Okay. Then next comes the precautions to be observed during a thunderstorm. What are the precautions that we have to observe during a thunderstorm? First one, do not take shelter under an isolated tree. While in a forest, take shelter under a small tree. So do not take shelter under an isolated tree. Okay, because there will be a probability that the tree may be uprooted and you might get hurt. or you might be severely injured. So while you are in forest, you should try to take shelter under a small tree. Second one, do not take shelter under an umbrella having a metallic handle, since there will be lightning, and lightning is also a form of electric current only. Okay, so we should not take shelter under umbrella, because umbrella, most of the umbrella, they have a metallic handle. Next one, keep away from water bodies. Water bodies attract electric current, electricity, and because of the thunderstorm only, you should keep away from water bodies or you might get severe shock. The next come, do not sit under an open window. Close window and doors properly. You should not sit near the open window. It is better, or it is needed, if the window or the doors are open, you should close it. Sit inside your home. Next is, do not watch TV. What is the reason behind not watching television? The reason is, it is also an electrical component, it is also an electrical gadget, and because of that reason, whatever gadgets require electricity, they attract each other. They attract that lightning, and because of that reason, you should not watch TV. Do not touch, operate any electrical appliances or telephone. You should not touch, operate any electrical appliance or telephone. Then next comes cyclones. What is a cyclone? A small low pressure system with a very high speed wind revolving around it is called cyclone. A small low pressure system with a very high speed wind revolving around it is called cyclone. The next one, what are the destructions caused by cyclone? Cyclones push water and produce water waves. You can just understand it. Cyclone push water and produce water wave. The second one, it causes severe loss of life and property. Definitely it causes severe loss of life and property nearby the coastal regions. Third one, it causes loss of fertility of soil. Yes, it causes the loss of fertility of soil. The topsoil is completely washed away. And fourth one, it can damage building, telephones and electric system. It can uproot the trees also. I hope you can understand this part. The next part comes in, what are the effective safety measures against cyclone? Cyclone forecast and warning systems must be installed. Where there is cyclone prone area, the cyclone forecast and warning system must be installed on those places so that the people can get the information, okay, and can be alert. Second one, cyclone shelter must be constructed in the cyclone prone areas. Cyclone shelter must be constructed where people, when they will suffer from, when cyclone will devastate that particular area, the cyclone shelter can help those people by providing shelter. The next one, people should go follow the guidelines provided by agencies through TV, radio, phones, etc. for their safety. That means they should watch the television for getting the information regarding cyclones, and they should follow the guidelines also. The next one, do not touch any electrical wires, switches, etc. After a cyclone, if the place is completely devastated, then you should not touch any electrical wires, switches, etc. Cooperate with your neighbors and help them. You should cooperate with your neighbor and you should help them. Okay, and in return you can get the similar kind of help whenever you will be in need. So this is what we have to discuss from this particular chapter. Thank you.